Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. This video I just want to do another update on the market. I think we're at a very pivotal point, potentially starting a summer rally. Still feeling a little bit under the weather, so sorry for the horsey voice. I spent most of the day sleeping, so I didn't get to see a whole heck of a lot what was going on with the market. Did make one trade, but I'll get into that in a minute. But we're going to start off with the QQQs, and as we can see, we had a very nice day, all things considered. Gapped down a little bit and then had an immediate reversal. As far as I'm concerned, this is a fantastic technical day for the market. Unfortunately, since I was sleeping, I ended up missing most of it. Might have been some pretty decent trades out there because it looks like there are a lot of stocks that are bottoming at the moment. But the fact that the Qs were able to get above that white line, in fact, let me get this support area out of there, or resistance area out of there, whatever you want to call it. It was able the Qs were able to get above the 8-period exponential moving average, headed up to that 21, which if it gets above that, I think we're going to be in outstanding shape. And the fact that oil got crushed today, I'll get into that in a minute as well. I think that is really starting to lead me to believe that we could be in store. Could have a summer rally in store for us, at least for a few weeks or so. But I was really encouraged by the price action on the NASDAQ and actually the whole stinking market. I thought everything looked pretty darn good. Let's take a look at the spider or the S&P 500 next. You can see the same exact thing. Sold off and then got bought up immediately. See, we got 3 bottoming tails in a row. That is a very good sign. You get a cluster of those bottoming tails. You usually get a trend reversal. And then if you get some topping tails after the move has been going up for a little while, the chances are a little bit higher that you're probably going to have a reversal the other way. So I always like to look for clusters of those tails on those candlestick charts. That's why I like to use those candlestick charts, because I can just see those a little bit easier. So here's another cluster of these bottoming tails that ended up leading at least to, a small rally. But that's what I'm seeing right now for the S&P 500 and the Qs. So that is a good sign. Let's take a look at the diamonds or the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Same exact thing. As you can see, the Dow had a little bit of a hard time getting above that 8-period exponential moving average, but that is to be expected. So if we get some bullish price action tomorrow, I think things are looking pretty darn good for the overall market. And I know I've said that before. I know a lot of people have said that before. Everybody's kind of waiting for this little relief rally we're going to get in this downtrend. I'm waiting for one that's going to last multiple weeks. Haven't got it yet, but the fact that the bottoms are starting to hold and we're getting bottoming tails, or a floor above a floor, like I like to call it, above a bottom, I think that's a very encouraging sign. The IWM was very strong. In fact, it closed near the high of the day. So, of course, once you close near the high of the day, chances are you're going to get some follow through the next day. So, really hoping for that tomorrow. But let's take a look at the oil contract. Let's take a look at the USO. The USO broke that very important uptrend line today. It was really strange because I was looking at the futures, and the futures didn't look so bad, but then all of a sudden got this huge gap down. I wasn't watching the futures right up until the open, but I watched them about a half an hour before, and I didn't think the oil contract really looked all that bad, but for whatever reason, got this big gap down and just kind of sold off hard on some pretty decent volume. So one thing that's good about oil going down, it's probably going to make it a little bit easier to have a summer rally, because if the oil and especially those gas prices come down, that's going to have some relief on inflation and the CPI, and that is what the market is looking at the most right now, and that is inflation. And if inflation come down, I think we can be in some pretty darn good shape. But let's take a look at the XLE. You can see the XLE is fading into that 200-period simple moving average. So honestly, the way the oil is rolling over, but the way the XLE kind of looks like it's, like parachuting in for a soft landing into that 200-period simple moving average. I really don't know which way the oil trade is going to end up playing out. If oil does turn around and start heading higher, this is going to be a fantastic entry point. I've been adding a little bit to my biggest oil position. Mine is CNQ. And you can see CNQ has been absolutely crushed over the last few weeks. Added a little bit at the 200. last week when it hit it, and then it added a little bit today as it fell below the 200. We can see it closed near the 200, so who knows where it's going to end up going. There is a lot of trading going around in this price area. You can see how big the volume bars have been over these last couple of weeks. So I don't know. Right now is one of those times where if you're looking at the oil market, you're not sure exactly which way it's going to end up going because it's been falling so hard. But if you make the correct bet, either if you make the bet that it's going to roll over and fall further, which I think it could easily happen just because oil's had such a big move, or if you think that the oil trade is not over yet and this is just a big pullback in the larger uptrend, you can make a lot of money on that trade as well. But right now we're at that point in the oil trade where who knows where it's going. It's at a very pivotal point. But taking a look at some of these other oil stocks out there, let's take a look at ExxonMobil. If the chart ever does show up, there we go. You can see ExxonMobil just kind of fading down slowly as well. So it looks like buyers are stepping in, and we're starting to get these bottoming tails in on some of these oil stocks as well. So I honestly don't know which way oil is going right here. I could easily see oil falling further, but I can easily see oil turning around from here as well. That's why I am just buying very lightly, and I am not selling anything as far as my energy stocks. Let's take a look at CVX, or how about CVX? Let's try that. There we go. You can see CVX is also starting to slowly parachute down into that 200. So this thing could end up being a little bit of a trampoline for some of these oil stocks as they are just slowly moving down into that 200. And the institutional funds out there love to add to their longs once they pull back down to the 200s. That's probably one of the reasons why you're seeing these things catch a bid at the moment. Starting to see some nice little bottoming tails as well. So it's anybody's guess. Let me know where you think the oil trade could be going next, because I honestly have no idea. I'm just going to go over a couple of more. Taking a look at SHEL, we can see SHEL has broken the 200, but it's off the lows from today. Had a nice move up and then a sharp move back down. This could be a nice little double bottom happening. I think this week is probably going to tell the tale where the oil trade is going to be going over the next few weeks. And last one I want to show you is PBR. It's a Brazilian company. As we can see, PBR has been in a long uptrend like a lot of the other ones, but is pulling back to a very important long-term trend line. So if PBR can hold this trend line and start to move higher, I think this is going to be a fantastic buy point. But if it does end up breaking below this trend line, this could spell the end of the long-term trend for PBR, because once you break these long-term trend lines, you got to get back above them quickly or you are in very big trouble. Now, I just want to go over some charts right now that I thought looked pretty interesting today. These kind of charts make me think that, the summer rally is becoming more probable by the day. First one I want to look at is Toll Brothers. Take a look at some housing stocks, because I know housing stocks have been getting a ton of bad news lately. But you can see these things made a sharp move down, broke to a new low, but they are bouncing right back up into that consolidation. So that's a very bullish sign for Toll Brothers. The one that I own is DHI, DR Horton. Some people call them Dr. Horton, but you can see DHI had the similar pattern, broke down through the support area, but immediately reversed, got back above it, and now we are starting to rally pretty hard. So one of the reasons why I think housing could be doing pretty well is I think the 30-year mortgage is going to start trending lower. So that's obviously a good sign for some of these home builders. Next one, I don't own this one, but I really like Lennar. I think Lennar looks pretty good for the long term as well, so I'm always watching Lennar. But Lennar, same pattern, started to break down, but then we can see all of these buyers started to step in. Another one I also like is NVR. Watch this one when I'm looking at the housing stocks as well, and you can see buyers are stepping up in a big way after this big pullback we've had in NVR. So a lot of bullish charts out there. I'm going to go over some other ones real quickly. Don't want this to take on too long, especially if I'm not able to get it uploaded. But I really like the cruise lines, added some cruise lines last week. You can see Carnival had a big day. Thought about jumping back in on some Norwegian Cruise Line options in the morning. I did not do it. I should have done it because you can definitely see that Norwegian Cruise Line is starting to really catch a bid in this area. Man, those options would have worked out very well. The other one I want to show you is Royal Caribbean. See, Royal Caribbean not as strong as Norwegian Cruise Lines. That's why I was looking at Norwegian Cruise Lines rather than Carnival. Even though I own Carnival stock, I was looking at Norwegian with options just because I thought, you know, it looked like they had some stronger buying going on with Norwegian Cruise Lines. But Royal Caribbean looks like it's bottoming as well. Let's take a look at Palantir. Palantir is quietly picking up some steam. Everybody left this one for dead, but you can see after this exhaustion gap it had in the beginning of May, it has just been slowly creeping up. So we're waiting for Palantir to make a new high pullback and then make a low right on top of a support line, and then it could go into that acceleration mode of the trend. That's what I'm looking for Palantir. Another thing that I was noticing was the human genome editing stocks are really starting to catch a bid. Start off with CRISPR. You can see these things have been slowly being accumulated over these last couple of months, and these things are about ready to break above that 200 period simple moving average. CRISPR looking really good. Another one is Editas. Ticker symbol EDIT. You can see EDIT starting to blast off as well. Buyers stepping in at this area. These things are many years away from being profitable, but buyers are stepping in at this level. Normally these stocks have been getting crushed in this environment, but it looks like these things are finally starting to get low enough where investors are starting to buy them again. Another one was NTLA. See, this one really starting to catch a bid lately. Another one is Beam. Beam doing very well. I see that Moderna was starting to do well. You can see Moderna looks like it's starting to carve out a bottom as well, finding a lot of buying around the $120 to $150 range, and looks like it's about ready to break through that. Let's go over the one trade I did today. If you watched my last video, I was thinking about, or actually I was trying to buy some calls in a TQQ last Friday. It did not get executed, but I ended up buying some of those calls this morning because I thought this gap down in the market was going to get bought up, and luckily it did. But I ended up buying the 2550 TQQQ call that ends this Friday, that expires this Friday for 41 cents a piece. And I think towards the end of the day, they closed right around $1 a piece. So up a little bit more than double, but you know, that could change in a hurry. Hopefully we'll get some follow through in the overall market. I think the overall market looks rather strong. So the trade is working out so far. You know, cross your fingers. Hopefully we get some more follow through to the end of the week. But that's all I have for this video. I'm going to end it right here. The longer it seems that I make these videos, the harder they are to upload. For some reason, it's just not taking it when I make them too long, so trying to cut them off. But if you guys see anything interesting in the market, or if you want me to take a look at anything, put it down there in the comments section, and you know, I'll be happy to take a look at it and put it in my next video. But I'm going to end it right here. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end. And until next time, take care, everybody.